everybody, it's Ginger and Ginger's Chat Show. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm going to get my coffee. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, now we're back in business here. I hope all is well. Hey Nancy. And we'll discuss the State of the Union that happened last night. The speech. Couple of other things. Let's see. Another thing too. Anyway, yeah, that's what I thought too, and I love the way he psychologically boxed the GOP in, especially the Mongas in, boxed them in. And Mike Johnson, the speaker, spineless speaker, he was clapping, but he was clapping under the desk though, because he didn't want the GOP, or didn't want the Mongas or anything else to see that he was agreeing with President Biden, okay? Because there was a side camera, if you catch that, he was clapping, okay? But he made all these shaking his head and everything else, but he was doing twofold, okay? He was pretending to the MAGAs that he was disagreeing with President Biden, which he wasn't really, okay? He was agreeing with him. It's just that if I were Speaker of the House, I just put the MAGAs in their place and say, look, this is the way it's going to be, and if you don't like it, tough. Hi, Dorothy. How's it going? Did you watch the speech last night? The State of the Union? I'm trying to get my tongue to work. So anyway, I wish somebody had a piece of duct tape to slap over MTG's mouth and tell her to stay quiet and shut up. Whereas this father of this Marine that was killed over in Angel Gate, over in overseas, he was arrested for disrupting the speech. Well, you know what? There should not be a double standard. MTG should be arrested and hauled out too for interrupting, because that's what she was doing. She should not be allowed to stay there. And I don't care if she was a House Representative. She needs to follow the rules too. But knowing her, she won't. And those mangas are so disrespectful and so rude. They need to be rounded up and put in prison, put in jail. She should have been kicked out, period. Yeah. And I think the sergeant of arms should go over there and grab her and say, "Up, you're going to jail. Bye." So, I don't like rude or disrespectful people when there's a speech being conducted. And the rules of disrupting a presidential speech should have applied to her as well. Okay. I love it when President Biden boxed the GOP in, the radical group in. And you know what? If there's such a small group of them, why don't the rest of the conservative and more liberal GOP box them out, block them out? You know, they need to build a spine. And I was watching Midas Touch last night. That's where I was watching the whole speech thing. He Midas Brothers had several notable guests on, including the senior advisor to the president. Oh, you remember Anthony Scaramucci that briefly worked in the White House, but President Trump did not like him speaking the truth and trying to keep things straight and everything. Well, Scaramucci says, you know what? Screw Trump. And as far as Trump wanting his daughter-in-law as a co-chair of the RNC, some of the other guests said, hey, she should go ahead and take all the RNC money, and you know what? They're not going to have any money to support their candidates for the general election. Of course, if she did that and everything else, that's another campaign violation. That money is supposed to be used for campaign money. It's not supposed to be used for paying Trump's legal issues, legal woes. So if they did that or he attempted that, then that's a major campaign violation. And the RNC, they need to give Trump the boot. Say, we don't want you. You're not a true candidate. Let's see what else. As I stated before, Marjorie Taylor Greene should have been arrested for disrupting the speech. Well, they say, well, that's a free speech violation. No, it's not a free speech violation on her part. She disrupted and she broke the rules. Because there's not supposed to be any disruption during a presidential speech. So, there's, again, as I said, there should not be a double standard. The rules should apply evenly for everybody. Oh, another thing. Guess what? This morning, Alina Habba, remember the gal that supposedly defended Trump at the E.G. Carroll trial, the $83.3 million fine that he has to pay. Well, she was replaced. She was given the boot by Trump. And I'll bet you 2-1, I don't think she's going to get paid. He doesn't pay any of his bills. He tried to run roughshod over people. Well, right now, it's a stickler, and he's trying to delay thing and trying to scrape the money together and everything else. But you know what? His appeal on that, and from what I understand, has been denied. He is to repay for it, and if he doesn't, I think it was yesterday was the last day, and then they will have the sheriff's sale, and he will lose all his assets, all the money, and everything else. He's not going to have anything, especially in New York, and the only thing he has is his plane and Mar-a-Lago. Well, he's going to have to be forced to sell his plane in Mar-a-Lago to pay the other fines as well. Now, there's a new criminal trial. There's a criminal trial coming up. I have to find out which one it is. He's got so many trials going on, you can't keep track. Um, um, that's going on, and they're doing the same thing. They're protecting the jurors and everything else, and placing a gag order on him and everything. And this judge does not play around. Okay. And it sounds like Cannon is in trouble too, that she may be replaced for the Mar-a-Lago case. Because she's done some blunders there too. Um, I mean, I've seen some very smart women lawyers, but I've seen some very dumb ones. And Alina is one of them. She's a dumb one. Um, I think all she wanted was her 15 minutes of fame. Well, that couldn't go very far for her. Uh, President, or he's not president, Trump hired a law firm down in Mississippi to handle the New York cases. Well, the guy has to get a temporary uh, permission from the New York bar to practice there, to do the case there. Because he's not allowed to practice in New York because he's not part of the New York bar. So he has, like Florida, has to get permission or get a temporary thing in to practice in New York. Because I understand when Trump looked for other lawyers to help handle all this, they wouldn't touch him. And they said, no, we don't want him. Okay. So, anyway, that's what's going on there. And of course, you probably hear this latest saga that Boeing is dealing with their aircraft. Yesterday, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday upon takeoff, United Airlines flight was taking off from San Francisco, flying to, where they were flying? Oh, they were flying to Los Angeles. And, well, actually, they were originally going to go from San Francisco to, what was it? Taiwan? No, not Taiwan. They would go somewhere in the Far East. And anyway, upon takeoff, the plane lost its left rear landing gear, its wheel fell off. And the wheel took out one of the airport employees' car. Airport now, he doesn't have a car. And the wheel bounced and it landed just outside of the entry gates going into the airport. And the tire just missed this one car. I mean, it just missed it by this much. And it landed on its side. And so they kept the guard over the tire because they need to get evidence, find out why it fell off, something break, or there was something going on with the assembly, landing gear assembly, which is really not Boeing's fault. I mean, they should have checked everything, but it's not really Boeing's fault because they get the parts. Most of the parts they get now for the aircraft to put it together is done by other companies. It's not done in-house much anymore, which they used to do. So the assembly, landing gear assemblies are done by another company, and then it's shipped to Boeing, and then Boeing installs the landing gears on their planes. Now some tires are bigger than others. And it depends on the model airplane and everything. it depends on the aircraft that takes into Vietnam. Okay, Nancy. Uh, if it's an Airbus A320 or something like that, or Airbus aircraft, you probably would not have to worry about that as much because their quality control is pretty good. Um, Now it's Boeing, but it depends on the aircraft, whether it's a 737 MAX or 787. Boeing lately has been having quality control issues. The one manager that manages the 737 MAX program, he's been basically been removed. Okay, he was not going to listen. He was not listening to any of the employees what they were trying to tell him. Okay, they said no, you have to do inspections on these. You can't cut corners when doing aircraft. Would he listen? No. And he decided to go after this one employee that blew the whistle. Well, that's a big no-no there too. And I'm glad that employee spoke out. And he said everything has to be double-checked on the floor. All the parts and everything reported. And the biggest mistake I think Boeing has made was the OR system, which is Online Rejection Tag Information System, the guy used to use on the floor to check all the parts. That way there is a big record of all the parts, what potential problems there are with the parts, what was done to correct those parts or repair them or send them back or whatever on the inspection on those parts. Because there's thousands of parts that go on the aircraft. Okay? And many of you are wondering how I knew all this, because I used to work at Boeing well over 20 years ago. So why Boeing decided to outsource all their in-house stuff is beyond me. It doesn't cut costs, it creates more costs, is my view. And so Boeing is in the process of buying back, was it Skyview Systems or something like that? Anyway, this other company took over the old Wichita Boeing plant, okay? And those guys down there make the fuselages for the body of the aircraft, the 737 and the 787 aircraft. They make those bodies for Boeing. And then they ship them by rail up to Everett and Renton. Well, since a lot of this problem is, it's gotten worse. Everything on the fuselages are put together, like your doors, your windows, and everything else, right? It's the smaller parts that are done usually by Boeing or by another company, and they install the parts. Well, Boeing is looking at buying back that company and then doing it all in-house themselves. And they should have not sold that part in the first place. They should have kept it in-house. They should build the landing gears in-house. They should build the wings in-house. They should build the fuselages in-house. And electrical. This all used to be done in-house. Okay? And whoever big idea of outsourcing all the other parts and everything else to other companies, and things are not done right, and they start having delivery issues and everything else because the parts never get there on time. Things are not checked and everything else. And Boeing really needs to go back to what it used to do back in the late 70s and 80s of doing superior quality control on those aircraft. Somebody was being a dummy, okay? So anyway, so that's what's going on there. And Boeing has 90 days to correct all this. Because Boeing is basically certified by the FAA to build the aircraft. It used to be about about close to 30 years ago, shy of 30 years ago. It used to be another aircraft manufacturing company with McDonnell Douglas. You know, like your DC-10s and DC-8s. They used to make those planes. Well, I don't know who bought out who. I don't know if McDonnell Douglas bought out Boeing or Boeing bought out McDonnell Douglas. But McDonnell Douglas was having problems getting orders. For whatever reason. I think other airlines prefer Boeing aircraft because I guess at the time it was the quality. So I don't know what these guys are thinking. I really don't. So that's my view on this. Let's see. Anything else? What else do you guys want to talk about? Outside of the speech last night and MTG's antics. And what do you think of, Dorothy, what do you think President Biden boxing in the MAGAs and the GOP? In other words, he was using some psychology against them. And they're forgetting that he knows how Congress works because he's been in there for like 30 years. He knows how the Senate and the House works. So, that's why you need leaders with experience, vast amounts of experience, and they work for the people. And President Biden works for the people. People keep saying the government. Well, to remind them, when they say the government, they say, oh, you mean us. No, the government. They say, no, the government. No, you're forgetting. The people are the government. They work for us. We're the bosses. We tell them what to do, not the other way around. So, just keep pushing, insisting, and persisting back. Let's see. Anything else? Well, outside of this weekend, no, it's the weekend. The storms are ramping up in some places. And I do hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to go ahead and finish my lunch, and I will see you guys later. Let me check my calendar real quick. Hold on a minute. Let me check my calendar. 1 minute. Calendar. Okay. I will see you on Monday as usual, 1 o'clock. And just watch the Midas Touch. If you want to get more detailed information, especially on how the law works and what they have, procedures and everything else. These guys are pretty good. So check them out. And as always, subscribe, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on my YouTube channel too. It's on the same name, Ginger Chat Show. I will. And sorry. So anyway, take care. Be sure to share. And I will see you guys on Monday. Okay? Love you all. Bye-bye.